It may well be the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that is the home, the end point, the start point for the IndyCar series, but there's one track which is older. It's the Milwaukee Mile. It is one of the oldest continuing operated race courses in the world, and it plays home to round number 3 of the Indy Elite Series. And our coverage here today is brought to you by the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by HPP Simulation on GSRC. Our coverage starts next. Of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line. Well, this place is a bit old, isn't it? Welcome to the Milwaukee Mile. Welcome to one of the oldest operating race courses in the world. Welcome to RaceSpotTV, iRacing Live, run number 3 of the Indy Elite Series here. As well, Randy, we are set for a very interesting race, and welcome to the IR18.
That's a big one, Will. I know that our first broadcast of it came from Friday prime time, but I think given the time slot for that and the fact that this is one of the big leagues in the IndyCar community, I think this is going to be our first taste of what top-level IndyCar competition is actually like.
Yep, as we've got ourselves, well, yeah, in these cars at the very least, as we see, we've got ourselves About a minute worth of qualifying left to go. Joshua Chin on pole position here. He's got it sorted out. Henry Bennett in second. Tanner Watkins in third.
Yeah, interesting qualifying already. Josh Chin, Bennett, and Watkins. And the thing is, Will, and I know that I've seen this a couple times. We saw it with the DW12, and we're going to see it with this again. We get a new Indy car, which means that we're in for a bit of a year and a half of silly season or so while people try to figure out these cars, figure out the setups. People that are, have already hit on something are going to be quick today for sure. The car's been out for not very long, but it's going to be interesting watching teams and how they eventually develop their sets and where they find time. Because how often in the in the DW12 do we see Josh Chin a half second up on Tim Holgate?
Yeah, indeed. As Tim Holgate currently is down in P number 10 as it stands, qualifying over. So we'll run through your starting grid in just one moment's time. But here's the thing that's worth talking about here. We are, of course, on the road to the iRacing Indianapolis 500 here, Andy, and we don't learn a lot from this racetrack apart from who's got balls.
Yeah, that's really the big thing here at Milwaukee, managing the dirty air as well, and that's going to be interesting in these cars as well. The fact that they have the less aerodynamic bits hanging off the side of them, they're going to punch a slightly smaller hole in the air. And I don't think they're quite as aerodynamically sensitive as the DW12 used to be. But regardless, it's going to be an interesting race. And let's see who's got the biggest balls of them all.
Yep, so let's have a look at your starting grid then for tonight's event. Joshua Chin at 21.1 second then. Pole position lap, Henry Bennett in second. Tanner Watkins in third. Bradley Walters in P number 4. P5, Simon Bryant, Andreas Eek in 6th. And then Adam Plunkett, Andrew Wood, John Downing, and Tim Holgate around like your top 10. Kinsella in 11th place in McBride. We're number 6. That's what we want to look at today here, Andy.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Row number 6, Andrew Kinsella and Niall McBride. That's a big one there. Handful of names that are pretty far down the order. We mentioned the fact that Tim Holgate, about a half second or so off the pace. Joe Branch as well, 22 flat. Joe is nearly a full second off that pole sitter, Josh Chin. So those guys not doing very well with the qual trim. Let's see if they have it in race pace.
Austin Esposito as well. He's way down the field here today.
Yeah, and it is so surprising. I have a couple other drivers who didn't get times in, like the Chad Simpson, Niles Anders, Chris Stouffer, Chris Peters, James McClure. A lot of big IndyCar names down there near the end. Probably guys, I will hope that they've been focusing on race pace as opposed to qualifying pace, because you get a week and a half, and you can't always develop both. A lot of this will go into who has bigger teams, and a few guys will get segmented off to work on qualifying trim. A few guys will go out and go work on the race setup, and then eventually they might kind of come together a few days before the race and see if they can combine knowledge. But it's going to be an interesting one, seeing if guys can work through the field or if they're just that far off the mark right now. Yeah.
So track temp here today is 24. Sorry, air temp here today is
76 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 76 Fahrenheit. I don't know what Fahrenheit is. As we've got ourselves also 51% race relative humidity. It's partially cloudy, but the wind speeds here today, they are absolutely huge at 17 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing for these guys, having that wind blow across the corners with as much speed as they carry through. And while the speeds aren't as high, say, as like a Texas or even in Indianapolis, the cars are so sensitive with the aero. That little bit of wind is going to cause major issues for these drivers as work themselves down this famous back straightaway here at Milwaukee, and we get ready to go green for the first time in the Indy Elite Series in the IR18.
Yep, so welcome to a little bit of happiness here for a number of these drivers. Drivers who are not going to start this race on track. They are Austin Esposito, Jim McClure, Niles Anders, and Christopher Stevens. We are here. We are ready to go racing. Let's do it then. IR18, Indy Elite Series. Let's go racing at the Milwaukee Mile. Pace car in, green flag in the air.
A good clean start up and down your field already. Josh Chin gets himself a nice little advantage in towards 1 and 2 for the first time. Side by side, 4th and 5th, first time through 1 and 2.
As here we have Bradley Walters then and Simon Bryant. And Simon Bryant is going to lose out a little bit as they come down in towards 3 and 4. He's going to try and work himself then on that inside line. He gets it. And Bryant is up now into P number 5 in terms of this race. Live timing and scoring will be available in just 1 moment's time here on RaceSpotTV and on our Racing Live. Just visit RaceSpot.tv/timing. And well, The field, they are kind of what you said here, Andy. Spread out a little bit early.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really going to happen. New car, a lot of people struggling for pace. And that's not because they're bad or anything. It's just a lot of people don't have the setups as dialed in as others. Then we're going to see a relatively straightforward Milwaukee race here. As we're actually watching Tanner J. Watkins, I believe, move his way up through the field. Actually, no, I take that back. That was Simon Bryant moving his way up the field as he's gotten himself up into that 4th spot. So he's trying to get to his teammate of Brad Walters. Meanwhile, out in front, Josh Chin. He's already got himself a 1-second lead.
Yeah, we see Chin already has a lead here as we go on board then with Simon Bryant, currently number 4 in the number 22 machine. And, well, the thing about Milwaukee is worth noting is that, of course, that a couple of weeks ago at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the banking, the issues that are affected by that, here at Milwaukee, it is traditional. 9.25 degrees of banking, that is it. But the inside lane used to be the pit lane at this track.
Yeah, that's the major thing. It could be a little bit awkward getting all the way down there. Because like you said, it used to be pit road back in the heyday and back when this circuit was originally built as part of yellow flies.
Well, yeah, yellow flies here. And for the first time here today, the first caution of the day. Down the engine involved in that one. Randy, talk us through it.
I'm just getting my first look at it right now as he's already well off the order and going through 3 and 4s, I think, where this happened, and he just got loose and basically spun down off towards pit road.
Yeah, replay then on board of him. He had a wing damage coming into that. There we are. Goopsy potatoes.
Yeah, a bit of a big hit for him. And now let's see, are we going to see guys come down pit road? I think only been a few laps, so I don't think we'll see too many, but I think we might have a couple guys who want new rubber. But then again, a lot of people value in track position right now.
Yeah, but of course we've also then got the pit strategy that goes with that one as well. So we're going to take a quick break here on RaceSpotTV, iRacing Live, bring you up to speed after this.
Are you back?
Getting started for the restart here and the Indy Elite Series. Coverage brought to you by the Lotus 79 Lionheart Retro Series presented by HPP Simulation. Catch that on the Global Sim Racing channel, and that will be a fantastic series to watch here as we come back then to the green flag. It is the driver of Joshua Chin who is leading the way right now. Green flag back out in the air. Here we go, Randy, racing once again.
Josh Chin gets himself a nice little jump. Let's see, though, what Bradley Walters can do. He started 4th place and quickly in those opening few laps got himself up to 2nd. I think if anyone might have the speed for Chin, it might be him.
On board right now with Bradley Walters, and well, he's currently scored about half a tenth of a second behind because we've got ourselves behind. More interesting action happening, and here is Andrew Kinsella and Andros Eek. They are going at it. They were side by side for one moment. Behind, you got yourself side by side going on right now as well. Now at Bride, P number 10, on board of him in towards 3.
A lot of side-by-side here in your mid-pack as you're watching that 10th place runner of Niall McBride and the likes of Tim Holgate and some others just out in front of him. Adam Plunkett, Andrew Kinsella, some of the names in this mid-pack right now as they run through 1 and 2. Everyone's still fanning out, fighting for spots. So while things are relatively single file out in front, from about 6th or 7th on back wheel, it's just an absolute hornet's nest.
Yeah, on board right now with the driver of Adam Plunkett going for P number 7, getting it for the moment. Side by side, in towards 1 again, and look how close this is, Randy. Behind, you've got yourself Tim Holgate and Andros Eek. They are going side by side as they got themselves down the back straightaway towards 3.
And so close here in this mid-pack. Seeing like to me, Will, that these cars can actually run very, very well in dirty air compared to the old DW12. Normally used to see here in Milwaukee a relatively straightforward racing where you'd like to get about half second to 7/10 of a second off of somebody to maintain speed, but this mid-pack, cars are tucked up right against one another and still doing a good job maintaining speed and maintaining downforce.
And that's the whole thing about this race as well. Yellow! Adam Dock is slow. It might have been him. Yep, it is Adam Dock. Spinning down the back straight away. Replay then on board of him. Hopefully. Here we are, on board. Oh, lose it for a central 1 and 2.
Yeah, kind of a relatively straightforward incident there. I think he just got the line wrong in towards 1 and 2, and I think he tried to crank the wheel and I kicked it loose, and he did a good job not to hit anything. Those tires are going to be roasted, but the fact that he comes away with no damage is absolutely phenomenal there from Adam. But
also pit road this time by 15 laps into 150 here at the Milwaukee Mile. This is when things get interesting in terms of the strategy call, and no one in terms of your top 10 do come in. Yeah,
Holgate's down and a handful of others.
Holgate is indeed in. So there is Tim Holgate. He's going to be one of your leaders on towards pit road. Pit stop time for him then. New tyres. 6.6 out of the way. Also, we had on pit road Jay Flanagan, Joe Branch, Michael Peters, Adam Dock, Timmy Harmonen, Chad Simpson.
Basically the last 8 cars.
Yeah, so we're going to take you side by side. We're back in a moment here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, will it be Tim Holgate? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line. Welcome to Chin City here as he is leading the way here in the Indy Elite Series. Lights are off on top of the pace car. Once again, Chin leads from Walters. Bryant in third. Fourth place, Henry Bennett. Fifth place is the driver of Adam Plunkett. As we go back then for the restart here, Andy, at the Milwaukee Mile.
Coming back to Green Flag Racing, seen Josh Chin be absolutely phenomenal on the starts all day today. If that pace car comes in, I think we're going to see more of the same.
Pace car got to come on towards pit road. It's all about the jump, and he's got the jump early then. So Chin once again then bumping at the start. As behind, you got yourself, well, Two-Eyed Racing going on third place, but also Two-Eyed Racing going on behind them here, Andy. They separate a little bit down the back straightaway, but you got yourself really going on, though, as you consider, and also the driver Henry Bennett.
Yeah, that's a lot of the drivers we're watching. One person I want to keep an eye on over the early stage of this run, though, as well, is that number 1 car of Tim Holgate. He's the only one of your leaders who came down pit road, got 4 tires, and filled up. I want to see how he's able to run through this field. I think he's going to have a rough time through this first 15 to 20 laps. Yeah,
Henry Bennett, by the way, has lost the position, and you consider now up to P number 4 on track, but there is the driver of Tim Holgate, and while new tyres aren't seeming to work that well for him, as we're going to have a look behind now. We're on board with Andrew Wood for the time being. Now we're going to go on board with Tim Holgate, and Holgate, well, you're right, he is struggling. He's behind the driver of Andrew Wood as they go single file in towards turn number 1, and I will say that Holgate, that call is not yet working for him.
I think we're going to have to wait for a while until the tires start to die off, because I think we'll, and I haven't done actually much testing, but I would wager that the tire wear on these cars is probably less severe than what we used to see on the old DW12. If not for anything else, the main sign for that is the fact that none of your other leaders have come down. You think of the way old Milwaukee races would have gone, 15, 17 laps into the race, and we got that last caution. I think you normally would have expected to see pretty much the entire field hit pit road.
Yeah, you've got Andres Eek and Tanner Watkins and Noah McBride all embroiled in a battle right now as they head themselves through corner number 4. Thank you very much. Camera angle in towards 1, and it is going to be first the driver of Watkins, then McBride, then Downing behind. You've got yourself Quinn and Holgate. They're going side by side through the exit of turn number 2. We go on board and see the driver of Tim Holgate, and he's passed. So he's up into P number 13 on track right now as it stands. But Josh Chin, by the way, let's talk about him for a moment. He has himself 9/10 of a second advantage over the field.
Yeah, he was a full 10.5 quicker than Bradley that last time through. Let's see if that pace continues here as he comes off corner number 4 and heads down this front straightaway. 8/10 at the line last time through. This time he stretches it another almost full 10th of a second. 900ths goes the way of Joshua Chin. So driver who's had relatively bad luck the last couple races, well, qualified well at Homestead and was in command along with Christian Steele the majority of that race. They got kind of boned over by a yellow late in that race, and then at at Loudon a couple weeks back, had some issues and got himself into the wall after running up front near the start of the race. I think Josh is enjoying this clean air.
Yeah, John Downey also, though, is a driver embroiled in a battle with Tanner Watkins for P number 8 on track right now. I was just having a look on board with the driver of John Downing, and he does not seem to be happy there in the guys. Yeah, he can stay with about half a second of Watkins ahead of them, but he cannot get close behind. And this is the thing, the Milwaukee Mile, even though it's had itself the opportunity over time, Randy, it can be a tough track to race at.
Oh, definitely, because it's generally going to be a single file racetrack, not a racetrack you typically see high line versus low line racing at, and that's, real life. That's all the Indy cars we've had on the sim. Hell, you put the Star Mazda on this thing, and you're basically going to see a single groove. It's just simply put the way it is. But that said, these guys are doing their best to try to make this place racy. But at the same time, entire field starting to sort of fan out and get single file here, Will. We're not seeing that big gaggle of cars that we saw through the first 10 or so laps. A lot of single file racing, and I believe Josh Chin is starting to hit lap traffic.
apologies there. Amazon Alexa there, Randy.
Oh yeah, shout outs to Alexa.
Yep. As out front, Joshua Chin does still continue to lead the way. There we are. Looking at Chin versus Bradley Walters, it is 9/10 of a second right now. They are on the same chassis, 31 laps into this event. And well, for a lot of people, this of course is the first race in the IR18, but also, Randy, it's the first race in the new tyre model that we see launched across a number of new iRacing cars.
Yeah, I think it's sort of NTM V6.5 right now. Nothing's on V7 just yet, but as always with the new cars, it's generally going to have the most up-to-date tire model. A lot of times the other cars won't always be getting them. That's kind of a traditional iRacing thing. You know, we're expecting V7, given the Dave Kemmer Bible that was posted a couple of weeks ago, likely sometime this year. But you're absolutely right. Interesting to see how these new tires work as Walters and Chin just continue to ebb and flow. Walters will sometimes reel Chin in by a tenth or two over a few laps, then Josh will re-stretch that lead. So these two, they seem very, very even, and Brad is keeping pace with Josh better than anyone else has from that second spot all day.
Yeah, last time by Walters gained about almost a tenth and a half over Joshua Chin there. Car turning around down on the exit turn number 2.
Christopher, I believe your winner from Homestead, and he's pulled it off, so that's pretty much going to be his day done. I don't think he had bad damage, but taking a tow from that position, that's going to cost you a lot of time. He's going to go down at least 10 laps.
Yeah, let's have a look then. On board, replay, Christopher in towards 1 and 2.
I think it might have just been your usual
he
Milwaukee
touched the
spin.
Yeah, it was exactly that. He touched the inside curve there, down through the run through turn number 1 and 2. And while Christopher is out of, well, he's not out of the race, but he is down. He's going to be down about, as you say, a number of laps for Stouffer. Ahead of him, by the way, we've got 19 drivers running in the field right now. A couple of people who I'm still thinking, okay, why are you still in this position? That is Tim Holgate down in P number 10.
He's just sort of struggling, isn't he? I think there's another sign that the new tires aren't that much quicker than old tires. You know, we normally you think about people 20, 30 laps out there on a set of tires. Someone comes down and their tires are 10, 15 laps old. They would be flying through this field, even with the extra weight of the fuel. But one of Holgate, he is really, really struggling around a bunch of drivers you would not traditionally see Holgate really struggle on. So that group really, really, I think, not getting up to speed just yet in the setup. They haven't quite hit on something that a number of people, such as the likes of Chin, Walters, and Bryant, have hit on.
Yep, and part of that, go on board with Joshua Chin. He's running, the gear setup seems to be so much different. Now, Chin is running basically 5th gear there through the corners, 6th gear in towards turn number 1 and 2. Shifts it down to gear number 5, gets a little bit loose. He's got traffic ahead of him right now, so this will alter him a little bit. But Holgate enters the corners in gear number 6, and he only gets into gear number 6 halfway through the straightaways, whereas Chin, he accelerates up into gear number 6, basically on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, and actually, interestingly enough, Holgate's running 4th through the corners as well, so a lot more shifting coming from that number 1 car compared to Josh Chin, and it may not seem like much, but in these Indy cars where momentum is so important, 1 or 2 shifts down the straightaways can be pretty big, especially with the short distance straights that you have here at Milwaukee. That'll cost you a good little chunk of momentum, and it's interesting to see, though, the fact that 2 of your traditional front runners in the Indy car, Holgate and Josh Chin, 2 of the best drivers to ever wheel these things on the iRacing service, be having such a different philosophy in terms of gear ratio setup.
Ooh, look at that. Hello. This is driver of Tanner Watkins right now, side by side. He was with Andreas Eek, was not able to make the move on the inside line. Remains in P number 8 right now, down to the inside again as they come through corner number 3 and 4. This allows the driver of Tim Holgate to come back into play, and Watkins does get, well, I say he gets the move done in towards 1. On the outside, here comes Andreas Eek, and Andreas Eek will stay side by side on the run down towards turn number 3 and 4, and Andreas back at 1 position.
Andreas isn't going to be too upset with that one, as now the number 1 of Tim Holgate he's sitting there. He's smelling a little bit of blood in the water. He wants to try to make up some spots as well, as he's just sort of gotten stuck here in about 7th spot, and he's going to take a look up the inside and just about get himself there on that number 24 car of Tanner Watkins, and he's going to move himself forward.
Yeah, there is Tim Holgate. He's up now into P number 8. However, he's still got to try and pass Andreas Eek before he can make the 5-second run now to the driver of Henry Bennett. So Tim Holgate, he's in that dirty air, and that dirty air is proving to be a big factor there. Going wide as driver of Andreas Eek, and this will allow Holgate to come down to the inside, in towards corner number 3 and 4. Almost an easy pass.
I think people who have not yet come down pit road, Will, are really starting to struggle on tires. 40 laps into this, and we just sort of seen that Andreas Eek make that big mistake, and just a couple laps or so before him, we saw Tanner Watkins do something similar, which is what allowed Andres to get by. The number 1 car has hit the wall. I think someone just tagged that wall off of 2.
Yeah, Andreas Eek, it looks like it might well have been him, because he's gone wide and he's losing time right now. He stays in that car, does not bring it on towards pit road, but he's lost then P number 9 to John Downing, and now he's lost another position to Liam Quinn. There we are, as Liam Quinn will go past him as well. So Andreas Eek now with damage here at a Milwaukee mile.
That car is killed. He's getting absolutely freight trained through 3 and 4, and I know he hasn't had the chance to get back up to speed and gain momentum, but I think that hit, I think, bent something in that car. And look at the amount of time he's losing. He just did a 24.5. Everyone else on the racetrack pretty much in the low 23s to the 22s. So a 1.5 seconds is what that damage is costing Andres right now, and he's continuing to fall. He needs to bring that down on towards pit road. I think he's trying to hit a fuel number more than likely, but he needs to get to pit road, I think, right now.
Yeah, as he's on 47 laps in his stint so far, mate. That 48 he's in. So Andreas Eek then comes on towards pit road, Randy. And, well, this might well be a bit of a longer stop here.
Yeah, I think that's what we're likely going to be expecting. Have to take a peek though to see how long he's on pit road, and actually no, he's not down there for very long. He's already out and rolling, so a little bit I think confident Andres. Maybe not a long time spent on pit road, maybe not a significant repair required, but the aero and whatnot can be so sensitive on these cars, it doesn't take much to really upset the speed.
But you lose the lap time. That's the thing here for Andreas Eek. Is going to be passed as well as he goes in towards turn number 3 and 4 once again. So Andreas not having a good race here on the Indy Elite Series here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. 1/3 of this race now scored complete here, Andy. And it does give us the opportunity to start talking about and thinking about the drivers who have done something in this motor race. And, well, we have a look and the drivers of Andrew Consider up 7 places right now. We're going to look at Andrew Consider right now because he's still there in that kind of mix at the front of your field. You've also got down positions Tanner Watkins and also Andrew Wood.
Tim Holgate as well, considering the fact that he qualified, take that back, Henry Bennett, who qualified 2nd and fallen back to 6th. So interesting to see some people moving forward, some people struggling a little bit here in the race trim, but we're going to be seeing this, I would say, for at least the next 6 months as people really try to get these setups figured out here, Will. You're going to see a lot of people who qualify well not do well in the races, and a lot of people who race well not do well in qualifying. Hell, we've seen Tim Doyle in the DW12 for the last 3 years that car has been out. He still qualifies terrible and is able to run his way to the front.
You know what, though? Having a look at on board of Henry Bennett, he seems to almost have to go to 0 to make himself through the corner. So a lot of these drivers now are struggling with their tyres. And Henry Bennett, as an example, his best lap time here today, Randy, is a 23.019 last time by. His best lap time at 22.4.
Who's down 6/10, and I actually want to take a look. Let's compare that to Josh Shin. His quickest lap of the race likely would have came on lap 2 as well, 21.9. And he's down to a 22.6, so Josh isn't encountering nearly as much drop-off. Let's compare that to second place runner Bradley Walters. I think we're going to see something similar. 22 flat for him. He's now in the 8th, so Bennett not quite having the longevity on the tires that some of the other guys that have managed to stay out front have had.
Yeah, and also don't forget the fact that we saw this yesterday in the RS World Championship Grand Prix Series. Clean air can be a godsend. And that is what is happening right now for Joshua Chin. He's now over a second ahead of Bradley Walters. And well, we talk about this race here, Randy. We say it's not the most entertaining one we've seen in the Indy Elite Series because, well, no one can get close enough to pass. And we've seen a few passes, but not that many.
This is sort of traditional Milwaukee. This is how, I don't care what you do to an Indy car. Hell, you could probably even run a super modified here. You're going to have a lot of aero push because the average speeds are just so high. It's just one of those things that's it's the sort of racing you get here. It doesn't mean the racing's bad. Doesn't even necessarily mean the racing is boring, but the track really does not lend itself to multi-groove racing. It's been a conversation over the last few years in IndyCar of how do we get the tracks like Milwaukee and Phoenix and New Hampshire and all these 1 mile racetracks racing side by side a lot more. I think the short answer is you just really don't with as much grip and downforce these cars generate. We have a number of cars on pit road though, by the way. Who's that I just saw coming down pit road? Adam Plunkett is in as well. Is that Walters? No, it's Downing.
Yeah, so we've got Helgate also on towards pit road early on today. He done 42 laps on his stint, but Henry Blunkett is on pit road. So Henry Bonnet on pit road. That's what I mean.
Race leader on pit road.
Yeah, and now we're going to get some green flag pit stops. So this will cycle through Tim Holgate onto the race lead a little bit. But pit road here, by the way, here, Randy, is not easy at all because you don't really have a quote-unquote excess road.
Oh, Chin slid the box. Chin slid the box, so he's going to lose
yellow
a
as
lot
well.
of time. Ooh, this might be really bad.
We are yellow, and it is Liam Quinn. He's turned around down, and I think this is on the run towards turn number 3. That's a weird one. I want to get a replay of this. So on board of Liam Quinn, the replay for him. Down to the inside of the Havilland machine. He loops it again by himself. Second unforced error here today, Randy.
Yeah, that is sort of a weird one. Like, I think he got sort of scared of who was that. I think that's Joe Branch up there. Yeah, it was. I think he was expecting Joe might have came down across his nose, and I think when he turned in, he lifted way off the throttle and maybe even gotten on the brake. He got sort of lucky. He didn't really give that wall a super hard hit, but I think he got a little bit startled. Likely did some crazy things with either the pedals, if not the wheel, and that's what kicked that machine around. Is be expecting some pit stops right here. Question is where a race leader is going to go. We have a number of cars slow down pit road. Josh Chin, I think, who should be cycling back into the race lead because there's cars slow down the back straightaway. I don't think he's going to be able to jump these guys.
Going to be interesting. We're on board with Josh Chin then. Picture in picture. Let's see what happens.
He just squeaks by.
Yeah, he does. Lucky there for Chin. We'll be back in a moment. Joshua Chin is your leader here. A couple of drivers are going to take the wave around, Randy.
Yeah, and that's what you're always going to have happen whenever you have pit stops happen the way that they just did in the middle of green flag pit stops, and then a caution comes out. Number of drivers going to be stacked up between that pace car and the race leader. That's going to be the likes of John Downey, Andres Eek, Henry Bennett, Adam Plunkett, Tanner Watkins, Al McBride. They're the ones taking the wave around, with Josh Chin cycling back into your race lead.
Chin leads, top 8, bottom of your screen right now. Walters second, Bryant in third, Kinsella in fourth, Holgate in fifth, Flanagan sixth, Wood and Bryant, there you go, your top 8. Broadcast brought to you by the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by HPP Simulation here tonight. 64, 150 laps, score complete, Randy. Bring us back to the green flag.
Inside of 100 laps to go, and it's going to be Team Chimera's Josh Chin bringing us to green once again. Has led pretty much all the laps outside of the pit stop cycles. Pace car ducking to the safety of pit road, and it's an early go once again for Josh, Brad Walters, Simon Bryant. They're going to play relatively nice with one another. 14 machine of Andrew Kinsella. He could be a curveball in all this. Can he work his way forward and harass the 2 drivers in front of him?
Well, and this is the thing about Kinsella as well. He is so good at starts and restarts. You go on board of him. Andrew Kinsella currently down in P4, and well, he's not able to make up any more ground, so P4 is all he gets for the time being.
Yeah, you're going to sort of have to be happy with that, I feel, as he works himself to the inside. You can see Simon Bryant runs a very wide entry through 1 and 2. Let's see if he does the same thing through 3 and 4, as Andrew Kinsella is going to duck down to the bottom. They head through 3 and 4. No, everyone pretty much runs the same line through corners number 3 and 4. Some maybe a little bit tighter by half a car width or so, but for the most part, you're not seeing that big wide line coming from Bryant. Let's see if he does it again, and indeed he does. Very, very wide and really diamonds off that corner compared to the couple cars in front and the few cars behind him.
And diamonding is a big thing at this racetrack as well, because unlike unlike New Hampshire Motor Speedway, you don't have the banking to really work with you. There's no step banking here, so you will try and diamond off that corner a bit. 9.25 degrees of banking at the Milwaukee Mile, and it's traditional for having that as well. Behind Kinsella versus Bryant right now, going on for third.
Yeah, a little close for them, but it ends up getting it fanned right back out. And you're right, not only that the banking that's an issue, Will, but the surface here at Milwaukee, it's so much older, it's a lot rougher, and there's a couple grip strips that are on the racetrack where you see they've done work, and notably on the inside of the corners, there's a semi-new asphalt. I won't call it new asphalt, but there's a bit more grip down there, and that's part of the reason that that high line isn't quite able to work, because that newer asphalt is down there, and it provides just so much more traction for these drivers to use. They now head down towards this front straightaway as we approach half distance in this motor race.
We do indeed, as Joshua Chin does lead, and he's got the advantage over the driver of Bradley Walters. Walters all of a sudden is under pressure from Simon Bryant in third place, Kinsella in fourth place, then it's Holgate, Wood, Flanagan, and the driver Andre Bryant. And I will say one thing, that Bryant really is taking that pressure every so often in terms of your battle for P2 versus the driver of Bradley Walters, as Chin does start to put away.
Yeah, this is sort of the phase of the run where we've seen Chin be dominant. After about 5-10 laps, he's able to start stretching out that margin and open it up to a second and a half that we've seen all night. But you're absolutely right. Simon Bryant is showing very, very good speed compared to his teammate out in front. Actually, as I say that, Walters was about a 10th quicker that last time through. And, well, that could also be a creature of the aero that we have here at Milwaukee. The fact that you're always going to be getting that aero push is one of the frustrating things about these 1 mile racetracks, Will, in the Indy cars, is you'll start to reel someone in, and then you'll just hit that wall of dirty air, and you'll immediately drop 2/10 that lap, and then it's just sort of like ebbing and flowing. Like you'll just reel them in by a little bit, and then you'll drop back, and you reel them back in, and you'll drop back. Even if you're quicker than someone, it can be difficult to consistently work your way forward.
Yeah, as Bradley Walters is now a second behind the driver of Joshua Chin in the battle for that race lead. So Chin now leads by 1.05 seconds over Bradley Walters. And this is the stage, Randy. Again, the tyres start to eventually start slipping back. So
we have, I think it's Holgate.
We yellow. And it is Holgate. And we are yellow. And Holgate is waiting for the entire field to go past him.
unfortunate for Tim, maybe a little bit frustrated. This race not going for, oh, he's actually really lucky. He didn't hit anything. I think, Will, he got a little bit tight coming off of 2, maybe a bit of dirty air, or maybe just running that car a little bit too tight as him, and he almost had to push. He almost pushed up into the wall. I think he had to get way off the throttle and give the left wheel a crank. He kept it off the wall, but like you said, those tires are going to be not so good, and he had to let everyone cycle through before he got himself back and rolling. That's going to make things really difficult for that one car who now has to drive through the field again.
Yeah, and they were on board with Joshua Chin then. Replay for Holgate. We saw that on. He just lost it by himself on the exit of turn 2. No one in terms of your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All your drivers coming towards pit road. We have a few that come in there, Randy.
Flanagan is the first one. I think he's followed by Joe Branch. Henry Bennett stays out. McBride. I'm trying to see Adam Plunkett's down on pit road. Tim Holgate, of course, he wants new tires. Tanner J. Watkins. So a little bit of split strategy here. Handful of guys who are running to the front of your field opting to come down pit road, but for the most part, everyone's going to really stay out who is in good track position situations.
Running up 2 positions. Branch is out of pit road as well. Plunkett and Watkins lose positions. Holgate comes out P number 12 here in this event. We'll step aside. We'll be right back. We are back here at the Milwaukee Mile. It's Joshua Chin leading the way over Bradley Walters and Simon Bryant in terms of your top 3. Pace car on towards pit road right now. Green flag back in the air. Here we go, Randy, once again.
Once again, it's Josh Chin in front of the field. Bradley Walters second. Simon Bryant third. If you've been watching, that should be a usual sight at this point. I think Josh has probably led, let's see, we've been green for 79 laps now, coming to 80. He's probably led at least 70 of those, if not more. They worked themselves through 3 and 4, and all your leaders pretty much single file. First fight is between Bennett and Niall McBride. Yeah,
it's on board. Bradley Walters in second place right now, and Walters a good, fantastic job for him in second position. But you talk about Niall McBride behind. Well, McBride, Paddy's Day yesterday, of course, and well, McBride not quite using the luck of the Irish, although he is down in number 7.
A lot of poor decisions being made in a lot of bars across the United States. What do you get? What happened?
We had a car, we were in the field there, getting completely loose on track. This is going to be a hard one to try and find and show, but we'll do our very best. In towards turn of, on the back straight, on the exit of turn of 4 actually, right there, we had ourselves a driver going very, very loose.
It's not often a very comfortable thing to have happen here, especially at Milwaukee. One little mistake and you get a huge mix-up, but and look at the race lead for Josh Chin right here, 1.2 seconds. Bradley Walters is the last handful of restarts done a lot better job of maintaining the margin than he has on this run. Josh is simply walking away from Bradley.
Yeah, the gap is currently 1.3 seconds, and that is perfect as Bradley then under pressure by Simon Wood a little bit, but behind also Andrew Consillo going and involved in the battle. We've got Bryant in the battle right now. Here we are on board then with the driver of Simon Bryant as they come through corner number 3 and 4 in towards 1 and 2 once again, and the driver right behind him. That's Andrew Consillo. Consillo loses out.
Yeah, I think Consillo, he took an aggressive line in towards 1 and 2. I think Simon Bryant, he almost got himself spun, to be honest. He tried to diamond off that corner a little bit, but he did a good job of maintaining that middle groove on the racetrack. And once he did that, he gave Consillo, I think, a huge dose of dirty air. Consillo had nothing better to do than to lift out and otherwise push his way up into the wall. Now that 14 car can be really frustrated. He just gave up about 8 to 10 car lengths, and, well, good luck reeling in the 22 car from that far back.
We go on board the driver of Andrew Wood right now. He's getting number 5 here, Randy. And he's hunting down the driver of Consillo. The gap between the two of them is 7/10 of a second almost. But Andrew Wood, New England, Boston versus Andrew Consillo. And of course, Consillo, his club is Canada. As they work themselves from the exit turn of 4 and 4 again. And Wood does not get the opens that he needs when he exits the corner.
Yeah, he definitely isn't right now, and Consillo's been walking away from Andrew Wood. There's a little bit of faith there, I think, for Mr. Wood, who's like, oh, maybe I can reel him in, but you see the pace that Consillo has, and that's really the difference in speed that those drivers in the top 4 have over the rest of the field, because Consillo, after making it look a little bit close for about a lap after that hiccup, well, he's been nowhere near Wood for the last handful of laps as he's opened that gap back up.
Yeah, and that is what we see right now. Behind, we have got Tim Holgate versus Noah Bryan. But Bryan being involved in issues here today. We've had Holgate involved in issues here today. When's the last time we talked about Holgate making unenforced errors? But he is currently in P number 7. He is trying to claw back into this motor race. Don't forget, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the RACing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Highlights of the race. You can catch her on our Twitter page at RaceSpotTV, but also you can catch that on the Sim Racing Observer, as well as interviews on the Simone Racing Report. And well, a lot of things went out on Twitter over the last 24 hours here, Andy, and well, the first round of the RACing World Championship Grand Prix Series proving to be, once again, a very interesting race.
Very interesting indeed, as you had the usual characters out in front. Martin Cronke is, well, he's got a nice, comfortable throne for himself on top. Mitchell de Jong, uncharacteristically, left the inside move open on the last lap for Gregor Hutu to slide through, so.
Tim Holgate, P number 6, battle. No, can't do it. But he does this time by here, Andy. Off into P number 6 will go Tim Holgate.
It's a good recovery drive here coming for Holgate after he, well, one, he put himself in a weird position on the pit strategy. And then now he's had that little half spin. I'm getting word that that 93 car of Josh Shin has touched that outside wall a couple of times.
No.
And we saw that wall be a huge factor for some people early on, and considering what it did to Andrus Eek. Let's see what the lap times are. The full 10th quicker for Brad Walters last time through, and I can see a little bit of damage on the right side of that side pod. He comes off corner number 4. This might be a better indication of what the lap times are like for Josh as he cycles through. 22.3, and it's going to be a 22.7 for Brad Walters, so thank you, lap traffic, but we need to keep an eye on this in the next handful of laps, I think.
Yeah, and again, how many times have we had this with Joshua Chin? But he's underperformed in the RaceSpot race just because of an unforced error. And here he comes then. Lap time showing him on the bottom of your screen right now. Has he been able to make it up? No, well, I'll tell you one thing, Bradley Walters has lost time the last 2 laps here, so Chin is fine for the Ravens.
They might have gotten pretty lucky, but he needs to be careful. From what I understand, he's given that wall a boot, as Mr. Jamie Wilson, who notified me. Yeah, he gave it a bit of a boot. They're also getting word that he's just struggling on the corner, on the exit of corner number 2. We saw that from him at New Hampshire last time out in the Indy Elite Series, where he ended up spinning that car from a good position outside and came down and spun off of 2 and pretty much ended his race as Brad Walters 0.3 of a second quicker than Chin that last time by.
On board the driver of Brad Walters, a little bit of RaceSpotTV fan emerged as here we go on board again. And Walters but he gained time in the last 2 laps here.
Let's see how much of a factor that played for Brad Walters. He's going to try to get around that lap traffic. Actually does a good job. Chad Simpson worked really, really well with Brad Walters there. He wasn't quite as nice and quite as favorable with Josh, as Josh was kind of hung out to dry in the dirty air for a couple laps. I think that's why we saw that gap come down as far as it did. But now that Josh is back in clean air, he should be able to start stretching that lead back out.
Yeah, and the gap on the last couple of laps, last time Bradley Walters did gain time over Joshua Chin in the battle for the race lead behind. Let's talk a little bit about the driver of Andrew Kinsella, because right now he's going in a battle, and that is a good battle going on with Andrew Wood, and that is between number 5.
So 5th place battle is where things are heating up, and we've seen these two kind of ebb and flow a little bit. We saw Kinsella go way down, and then he stretched that gap back out over Andrew Wood, but now Wood has really done a good job reeling Kinsella back in, but not quite close enough, is he?
Well, we're on board with him, and consider that as 100 laps up, 150 scored complete here at the Milwaukee Mile. And well, this is a bit like New Hampshire Motor Speedway all of a sudden, Randy. We're thinking about green flag pit stops.
I mean, we saw that already today, so green flag pit stops likely going to be coming a little bit soon, as Jamie continues to ding me on Slack when I'm trying to commentate a race, as Josh is continuing to just work his way forward. Everyone's pretty much just gotten themselves fanned out. We were even talking about that battle for 5th, and that's sort of gotten itself separated by about 3 seconds since we started talking about it. The fight for 5th will likely be on soon once again, as Holgate is slowly reeling in Andrew Wood.
Last couple of times by, he has had the advantage over Bradley Walters. So Walters then slipping back. 1.4 seconds is the gap between P number 1 and P number 2. Walters, though, on towards pit road.
So here we go, pit strategy already, and does Walters have teammates following him down? Yes, he does. Simon Bryant comes down pit road. Let's see if some other of those team cars come down. Answer is going to be no. So let's see what the undercut is like. We haven't really seen the tire wear that we would have in the older car, Will, but that said, the pit window just opening up. These guys might want to stick with it. And Josh Shin, considering the fact that we've seen him do 2 early stops this season, once at Homestead he got caught down a lap, and once today, and both times caution flew immediately after he hit pit road. I think Josh is going to be perfectly content keeping this car out here for a while.
Yeah, he's done 44 laps in this stint so far in this event, and he's in. Talk us through it, Randy.
So he comes down pit road. We saw him roll his box last time he came down towards pit road, and somehow he's still able to maintain the race lead. Can he get it right this time? Yes, he does. The car is going to get jacked up, and let's see if the undercut is going to be enough for the likes of those drivers like Bradley Walters and Simon Bryant to jump him. Here comes Bradley Walters down this front straightaway. Josh Shin is out and away, and he's on the apron. It's going to be tight.
I don't think he's going to be free. He will do it there. Joshua Chin, oh, side by side. And Chin loses out to Bradley Walters there by what, a 1/10 and a half? But the fact that he's lost that position there, Randy, is going to haunt him and hurt him for the remainder of this motor race.
Especially from where we've seen Josh Shin struggling today, which has been getting off of corner number 2. We know that he's been struggling a little bit in the clean air. Now he's going to have to deal with the dirty air for the first time of Bradley Walters. Now, the current race leader is the one of Holgate. This is sort of the effective race lead between the 56 and the 93, which is why we're so tuned into this right now. Big question has to be, how is Josh going to do? He works himself back down through 1 and 2. I don't know, Will. I think it's one of those things where Bradley Walters came down pit road and Josh sort of gave it 2 laps for Walters on the new tires. I think Josh at that point, he should have just stayed out up until about 20 or so laps to go, perhaps. I think he waited too long to come down pit road.
Yeah, and that's going to be a fascinating thing. Of course, if there is a caution, this entire thing will reset. But if we stay green to the end, then I'm looking at right now where Walters is on the racetrack. And there he is down the back straightaway, coming through towards turn number 3 and 4 again behind Chin and Bryant. We're 1.4 seconds separated. Chin under pressure by lap traffic here, of all things, Randy, as we come down 109 laps.
I mean, if anything, I'd say Walters and Chin are sort of the lap traffic is currently worked themselves around here on the racetrack. A couple drivers really wide. I think that may have been Andres Eek, who's super wide through 1 and 2, so not great for him. But the question has to be for this 93 car, Will, is how is he going to recover here? Because this will be the 3rd race in a row he potentially had the car to win, that he may have lost it in the last 30 to 40 laps.
RaceSpotTV fan immersion then on board with Joshua Chin. Let's do a lap and a half on board with him. He's losing time, Randy. He's lost time by about 1/10 of a second. And again, a 1/10 of a second is not worth a lot in many forms of racing, but he's losing 1/10 of a second a lap right now over Bradley Walters.
Yeah, he is. He hasn't spent much time in dirty air today, has he? Whereas Walters has been in that dirty air all day, and now he gets a nice big dosage of clean air. That said, a little bit of lap traffic for Bradley Walters. He's going to have to deal with Tony Heilemann. Let's take a look at the lap times again. It's 22.4 for Josh versus 22.3 for Walters. And you're absolutely right. I think that 93 car, as quick as he's been all day, that machine may not be very good in the clean air. Or dirty air, excuse me.
Yeah, and also Henry Bennett, he overshot big time in the AA7 machine then. Currently 13th place, and he will lose out. And also, he's got himself a speeding penalty there, Randy.
Oh no, that's disaster for him, as he's going to have to sit and hold in that box, and now he rolls out. But that's a race killer, as we're inside of 40 laps remaining in this one, and well, not much you can really do now to really recover if you're Henry. So that's going to be really, really unfortunate for him.
We talk about the road to the Indy 500 here, Randy, and we talk about if you are going to make a mistake, you make it on the first pit stop, not the last. And for Henry Bennett right now, pit number 14, we're just documenting him as he goes down towards turn number 1 and 2 again, and he has got no one really that can really benefit out of it apart from his penalty. But Bennett has got 2 cars behind who's faster than, 2 cars ahead that he's faster than. Henry Bennett not going to get a top 10 here today.
Yeah, he's not going to be very happy, is he? And it's so frustrating to be in such a good position and have just one mistake completely throw away your race. Is still sort of seeing this split strategy here. Most of our drivers have come down pit road and have cycled the likes of Walters, Chim, and Bryant out towards the top 3, but Plunkett, Branch, and Watkins, those 3 drivers still owe us pit stops. They're just, I think, going to run this until the thing pretty much runs out of gas. They want to try to work their way into a good spot before this race comes to a close, as their pit window is likely going to get ready to get shut sooner rather than later. And
Watkins ahead now of the driver of, was that Chin or was that Watkins who was ahead of?
It's Walters. It's Walters and Watkins.
Yeah, Walters and Watkins then versus Joshua Chin right now. And Chin is losing time all of a sudden on the racetrack. They are on the same track. We were on board with Joshua Chin right now, but Chin lost 2 places in 1 corner.
Yeah, so not very good for him, as Josh Chin is now really tucked right under that rear wing of Bradley Walters. So it's really helped out Josh Chin here. at least in regards to Bradley Walters, but will Josh still have that grip to be able to maintain right there on Brad Walters? The last couple lap times have been good for Josh, mostly due to all that lap traffic, but gas already starting to stretch back out. It was 2/10 quicker for Walters last time through.
Yeah, we'll go back on board with Josh Chin then. Currently P5. Gap is half a second between them as they work themselves through turn number 3 and 4. There we are, backside coverage here. As one thing was worth noting, Adam Plunkett, by the way, he is on a very old tyres, but he's got himself, well, a 5.1 second advantage over Jerome Branch in second. Both Plunkett and Branch are doing the long game.
Yeah, they really are, and they're about a second or so, slower every single lap time through than the likes of Walters and Chin. So that just shows you what the old tires are able to do. If they're still trying, they're really hoping for a caution, aren't they? Because the caution flies, they'll come out somewhere 5th, 6th, and you likely have a handful of your other front runners come down pit road as well. This is going to be the big chance, I think, for Josh Chin. When Walters gets to the likes of Joe Branch, who's just now about a second or so out in front of him, he's the next car that Walters is about to get. If Joe Branch races with Walters really, really hard, that might give Chin the opportunity to reel in Walters and jump and make a move. But at the same time, I think if you're Joe Branch, given how old the tires are, I don't know if there's much you can really do to keep that 56 machine behind.
Yeah, and one thing that's worth noting, of course, is that Joe... Oh, he's in.
Well, now there went that dream for Josh.
Yeah, so the Texaco Havoline car then on towards pit road for Joe Branch. And he's going to do his pit stop there. And away in 6.7 seconds. So he's coming down in P number 10, 11, 12, I think maybe for Joe Branch. He's coming up to speed right now. He will get P number 11 after all is said and done. But worth noting that Adam Plunkett is yet coming towards pit road, and he now knows to do that pit stop strategy. And I don't think that he can hold on, to be fair, Randy.
No, he's not going to. He's just hoping for a caution at this point. He's doing 23.4, and he's getting absolutely wrecked by lap traffic right now. You have the likes of who's that getting ready to go behind Andrew Wood and Niall McBride. They're the next two drivers in line. And then you have John Downing, and then you have Walters and Josh Chin. So that just shows you how quickly those two have really reeled in thanks to the new tires. As Plunkett's going to let those lapped cars through and pretty much keep this thing out there for as long as he can, as Chin is still trying anyhow he can to reel in that 56 car and get in a position to make a move. But just the big thing in these Indy cars and these sort of racetracks, Will, it's almost impossible to pass people here at Milwaukee when you're both within about the same 10th in terms of lap time.
And there's a gap between Joshua Chin and Adam Plunkett. Whoa, we've got... that's Adam Plunkett there that we're looking at, as he is leading the race right now, and he's got himself the advantage over Bradley Walters by 1.6 seconds on track. And I will say that has come down, but once that comes down to 1 second, I think that maybe Walters might have a difficulty. And here we come. We've got ourselves, what, 129 laps of this race, score complete here, Andy, and now it's down to business.
Yeah, about 20 laps to go. Business is picking up here. And Adam Plunkett, he's actually going to hit pit road as the race leaders get to him. And that's not a surprise in my opinion. Plunkett is a teammate of Bradley Walters, and he basically hit pit road right when Walters would have been hitting that dirty air. So Adam doing Bradley a big, big favor coming down pit road when he did. Now, there's a gaggle of lap cars in front of these guys, the likes of McBride, Wood, and a couple of others as well. And Walters and Chin are only running about a 10th or 2 quicker than those drivers. I don't even know if they're going to get to them before this race ends, but that's going to be, I think, the only opportunity that Chin has to try to get around Bradley. That said, Bradley, interesting line through 1 and 2. I don't think that works out for him. Chin has reeled in that 56 car the last 5 or 6 laps for sure.
Driver Plunkett then going up pit road then. Adam Plunkett, number 40 machine. And he loses 1 and 2 more positions down to P number 12. I will say is that he will gain those positions back in terms of pit road, etc. But here, Andy, now in the comes.
Wake up,
there's one already there for Adam Plunkett. He's got 1 And that's the driver of Flanagan. And he's going to get another one there because of the fact, oh, look at that, down towards pit road. There's road to a brunch.
That's actually Tanner Watkins who's hitting pit road here. Bradley Walters. It's okay. Brad Walters still in your race lead. He's done a good job of restretching this margin out over Joshua Chin. They now head down towards this front straightaway. They have gotten to this lap traffic, Will, and this is where things are going to be really, really difficult for them.
It will be indeed. Let's go back like two race leaders. As we see that the fact it is Bradley Walters leading the way. And Walters, and that's the whole thing about the pit stops here today. He has been able to make the pit stops work for him. And now Bradley Walters leads the way in terms of pit stops. Last time by 7.5, he's got himself, and that is a 24.6 version in terms of end to lane. Side by side as Walters goes there with Joshua Chin.
Josh has done it. Josh has made that move.
He's got it,
yeah. 3 and 4. What a move from Bradley Walters. I don't know how Bradley Walters managed to mess this one up because he had the opportunity he would want. Now Walters going to try to fight back on the inside, but Josh, he has your race lead, and now he's getting a huge dose of dirty air to Bradley Walters. They hit lap traffic.
And that is perfect for Joshua Chin right now as they come to 15 to go in this motor race. And the Milwaukee Wild, I will say, here, Andy, is one of those tracks that you cannot pass that. It is hard to pass that, and Joshua Chin has done so as he comes down to 13 and a half to come.
Yeah, 13 and a half to go, and now he has lap traffic, and he just needs to be careful. You don't want to have a mistake we saw in Indianapolis, better part of 10 years ago now, where you make a mistake dealing with the lap traffic. His yellow flies.
Who is it?
Tanner Watkins in the 24.
Oh, wow.
He Tokyo drifted the entirety of 1 and 2.
Yeah. Replay coming up. Replay coming up here for Tanner Watkins. Andros Eek, you can see him on pit road right now on your live screen, but this is what we want to show you there. Tanner Watkins, well, Tanner Watkins again. You're
not the kind of incident you want to have through 1 and 2 at Milwaukee, is it?
Yeah, indeed so. So we are trying to get you the driver of Tanner Watkins on the replay, but we will be back here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live after this.
You okay, buddy?
here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line. We are back live here at the Indy Elite Series, and Joshua Chin is leading the way with 8 laps to go here, Andy, as well. Chin again. What a restart.
Yeah, big restart for Josh Chin. I still don't know how he managed to make that move on Bradley Walters' work. When he did so, Walters has fallen back to the 5th spot, but Chin, 1 second lead over Simon Bryant with coming to 6 laps to go.
So Kinsella right now, he is trying to go side by side. We go on board of them. Oh my word, Randy, that was close. As we go on board with Kinsella, that's the thing, all day he's been close, but not quite close enough.
Yeah, that's been the big thing, I think, of Kinsella all day, hasn't it? He's been close, and he's had decent speed, but he's not had that potential race-winning speed for that number 14 car. But I think the fact that he could come out here and go from 11th up to that 4th spot, I think he's going to be happy with it.
5 laps to go here at the Milwaukee Mile, as he got himself to turn number 1 and 2 once again. Andrew Kinsella versus the driver of, well, many drivers going on right now. But out front it is the driver of Joshua Chin. And Joshua Chin, by the way, let's talk about that one, Randy. He's not had the opportunity. But here he is through turn numbers 1 and 2 as he comes through, and he's got loud traffic ahead of him as well.
Yeah, a little bit of lap traffic in front of Josh, but not too much. I think he should be okay, as it's going to be 3 laps to go for that Team Chimera driver in that number 93.
Here comes Joshua Chin then, through turn number 3 and 4, down towards the start-finish line. Joshua Chin leading the way as they come through turn number 1 and 2 once again, and Chin has the advantage, and the advantage is 1.5 seconds there over the driver of Andrew Wood right now. And Wood, well, he's got close here. That's the thing here. New driver in the Elite Series, and Andrew Wood, 0.5 seconds behind Andrew Kinsella for P number 4. But it is still Joshua Chin leading the way by 1.1 second over Simon Bryant.
Yep, and white flag coming for Joshua Chin, who I think is going to be a nice little situation here. Only 1 car between him and victory lane right now, and that's Tony Heilemann. Very slow lap car as they work themselves down the back straightaway for the final time. 93 car Josh Chin. 2 more corners to go before he gets his first win in 2018.
Through the final corner then, here comes Joshua Chin. He is going to win here at the Milwaukee Mile, and Joshua Chin will become a winner in the Indy Elite Series. And here we are, Joshua Chin. He will claim victory for the first time. And well, with Josh Chin, this is going to be really interesting for him because he's never done this before. Down towards the front straightaway once again. And here he comes. He slows it down for the donuts. Not yet, but here we are then, Joshua Chin. The donuts are nice and the number 93 machine even, sorry, as he comes through there. The hugs involved. He will do the donuts. And the burnout there, Randy. 2 for 1.
Yep, 2 for 1 there for Josh. He's had 3 opportunities this season to come away with a win. Things didn't go his way at Homestead, where he ended up 7th. And, well, he's very quick at at New Hampshire. And I keep making that mistake. And before he tagged the wall off of corner number 2, he had a trip with the wall a couple times here on this one. But overall, for Josh Chin, has to be satisfied to finally get the checkers here in the Indy Elite Series in 2018.
The donuts will continue. We'll be back in a moment here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. As there we are, Josh Chin on towards pit road. We are green. We are green.
Okay, well, I think you need to go get your blood sugar sorted out. If you want to do post-race, give me the stream.
experience in this car. We haven't had a lot of time to test, so we knew it was going to be an uphill battle. We didn't start working on qualifying until end, and it was obvious that a lot of people had gotten much more speed out of their qualifying setup. So yeah, we started mid-pack. We knew we had a good long-run car, maybe the best long-run car. We were able to pick people off once we got up to 20 and 30 laps on the tires. So it was fun being able to come back through the field. We were pushing a little bit hard, and I had to spin somewhere around mid-race, which didn't actually hurt us too bad because we didn't damage the car. We were able to come in and get fresh tires and then do it all again. Yellows fell at roughly the right time. I think the last yellow kind of hurt us a bit because we knew that we didn't have the initial 5 to 10 lap run that the leaders had. So we knew that once the yellow came out, it's gonna be very tough for us to come from the back again against those guys. I think if it had stayed green, maybe we would have gotten another position. But we finished third because Kinsella ended up hitting the wall, so we probably got as best as we were going to get regardless.
Well, Tim, we've seen you be competitive across 3 of the Indy cars on iRacing. We've seen Josh in a similar situation as well. Had the IR05, moved that over to the DW12, which was probably a really, really big shuffle. And then now we move from the DW12 to the IR18. I know a lot of the things underneath the body panels on the IR18 are very similar to the DW12, but it's an entirely different beast in terms of aerodynamics. What are things like for him for this new car? Excuse me. How does it compare? How big is the jump from the DW12 to the IR18, and how does it compare to the jump from the IR05 to the DW12?
I think it's a little bit hard to say at this point because we're running single plane wings here at these flat tracks, which is a good bit slower than we're used to. It reminds me a bit of the IR05 from the old tire model because we would drive that much looser than we ended up driving the DW12, and you could tell that some of the really good drivers who are comfortable with the loose car were the ones who were coming through the field today. So that was something I really enjoyed was having to actually get the car on edge and run it through traffic. That was fantastic. We're gonna have to see how the other tracks go. There's a brand new car, so we're not sure what other changes iRacing going to be bringing to it. Thus far, it races really well. I was expecting this to be much more of a parade, but I think because of everyone being brand new to the car, setups were coming and going, and some people had good short runs, some people had good long runs, and everyone was getting used to how far you could push the car. I obviously had to spin, so I found about how far you could push the car. Probably won't go as far next time, but it's going to be interesting to see how the super speedways go and Indy goes as well.
Before we let you go, Tim, shout outs. Who would you like to thank after your fantastic podium position here at Milwaukee?
First, I got to apologize to our sponsors. We didn't have the livery on the car today. We got to get that up before the next race. But definitely want to thank Sam Maxwell Customs for putting together great wheels, Z1 or Z Blue Software for putting together the Z1 dashboard, Bodo for always keeping me comfortable, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and Joe Branch and the Elite Indy Oval Series for putting on the league.
Well, thank you for joining us. Third place finisher, everybody, Mr. Tim Holgate. And well, it was a fantastic running here in the Indy Elite Series. And well, it was a fantastic race brought to you by RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. We look forward to the next round of the Indy Elite Series coming at you, and of course the build up to the month of May on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. But for everyone here on RaceSpotTV, myself, Randy Chinneth, Will Vincent, and everyone else behind the scenes as well, we look to see you next time. Bye-bye.